The war should have ended that day. Every alien commander watching from orbit believed it. Human resistance was collapsing. Their cities were ash. Their fleets were broken. The last human outpost on the red desert moon of Kala was supposed to fall in under 10 minutes. It didn't. Because one human medic made a decision no alien strategist could predict. Corporal Elias Rhine was not a hero. He was not enhanced. Not genetically modified. Not armored like the heavy troopers. He carried bandages. And on that battlefield, that made him the strangest weapon of all. The desert wind howled across shattered metal and burning wreckage. Smoke turned the sky black-orange. Elias crawled through debris, dragging his medical pack behind him. His squad was gone. The last transmission he heard was screaming and static. Then he saw her. She lay half-buried under a collapsed alien skimmercraft. Tall. Silver-skinned. Armor cracked open like broken glass. One of her legs bent at an angle no living thing should survive. An alien officer. Their enemy. Her species, the Verati, were known for precision and cold strategy. They did not show weakness. They did not surrender. But she was bleeding. And bleeding was universal. Elias raised his pistol. She raised a glowing blade. For 3 long seconds, they stared at each other. Then her arm trembled. The blade fell from her grip. Elias lowered his weapon slowly. Well, he muttered to himself, this is going to be a paperwork nightmare. He approached carefully. Her eyes tracked him, sharp, golden, furious. Even injured, she radiated danger. Her leg was shattered. Not just broken. Crushed. Bone fragments pierced through shimmering skin. Strange blue blood pooled in the sand. She tried to reach for her weapon again. Don't, Elias said calmly. If you could stand, you would have already killed me. She hissed something in her language. His translator flickered. Human, finish it. He shook his head. I'm a medic. I don't finish people. He knelt beside her. She tried to move away. She couldn't. He opened his kit. Her eyes widened. What are you doing? She demanded weakly. Fixing your leg. She stared at him like he had just spoken madness. I am your enemy. Yeah, he said, examining the fracture. You're also dying. The battlefield thundered in the distance. Human artillery. Alien plasma strikes. The war still raged. But in that small pocket of destruction, something strange was happening. A human was helping the enemy. He injected a stabilizing foam into the wound. The foam expanded, glowing softly as it sealed ruptured vessels. She screamed. But she did not pull away. Instead, her hand shot out and grabbed his wrist. Her grip was iron. Cold. Desperate. Elias froze. I need both hands, he said gently. She didn't let go. Her breathing was ragged now. Her pride cracked wider than her armor. Do not leave, she whispered. It wasn't a command. It was fear. And that terrified him more than her blade ever could. I'm not going anywhere, he said. He adjusted his position, working one-handed at first. She held on tighter whenever pain surged through her body. No Verati had ever asked a human to stay. Not in all recorded history. Above them, alien drones scanned the battlefield. One drone paused. Detected 2 life forms. 1 human. 1 Verati officer. In physical contact. The drone hesitated. Its programming had no category for this. It moved on. Elias straightened the leg. The scream that tore from her throat echoed across the sand. But she never released him. Not even once. Minutes passed. The brace locked into place. The bleeding stopped. Her breathing steadied. Still, she held his hand. He finally looked directly into her eyes. Up close, they weren't cruel. They were afraid. What's your name? He asked quietly. She hesitated. Commander Thalin of the 7th Expansion Fleet. He blinked. Okay. That's a lot. I'm Elias. She studied him like he was some strange creature. Why? She asked. Why what? Why preserve enemy life? He considered that. Then he gave the most human answer possible. Because I can. Silence stretched between them. In orbit, Verati Command intercepted drone footage. Their analysts replayed it again and again. Human medic. Saving Verati Commander. Holding hands. Impossible. Illogical. Strategically dangerous. Orders were drafted immediately. Retrieve Commander Thalin. Capture the human alive. Meanwhile, Elias checked the brace again. You'll live, he said. She didn't respond. Instead, her grip tightened slightly. You are foolish, she whispered. Probably. My people will come. Yeah. Mine too. If they see this. I know. Her gaze softened. You risk execution. He shrugged lightly. Wouldn't be the first bad decision I made. For the first time in her existence, Commander Thalin felt something unfamiliar. Not weakness. Not submission. But curiosity. Humans were supposed to be chaotic primitives. Emotional. Violent. Yet this one knelt in the ashes of war, repairing the body of his enemy with shaking but determined hands. The sky darkened. Dropships approached. Both human. And Verati. Elias heard them at the same time she did. Her ears twitched. Her fingers tightened. Stay, she whispered again. And he did. Because sometimes the strongest act of defiance is not firing a weapon. It is refusing to let go. The first human-alien ceasefire in history did not begin with diplomats. It began with a medic. And a broken leg. And a hand that would not release. The dropships arrived at the same time. Human engines roared from the west. Verati carriers sliced down from the burning sky. For one long moment, the battlefield froze. Through the smoke, soldiers from both sides saw something that should not exist. A human medic kneeling in the sand. An alien commander leaning against him. Their hands locked together. Weapons aimed. No one fired. Commander Thalin felt her fleet's presence before she saw them. Their ships pulsed in precise formation overhead, cold and disciplined. She knew their doctrine. She had written part of it. Recover assets. Eliminate threats. Leave nothing uncertain. Elias slowly raised one hand, the one she was not holding. I'm guessing those are yours, he muttered. They will not understand this, she replied. Yeah. Mine won't either. A human gunship hovered low, kicking up sand. Soldiers jumped out, rifles raised. Across from them, tall Verati shock troops advanced with glowing rifles humming. Both sides stopped 10 meters apart. Human Captain Mara Ionescu stepped forward first. Her face was streaked with ash. Her eyes scanned the scene once. Corporal Rhine, she called out sharply. Report. Elias swallowed. Found her alive. Compound fracture. Stabilized. She would have died. That's the enemy commander, Mara said. Yes, Across the sand, a Verati retrieval officer spoke through amplified tones. Commander Thalin. Identify your condition. She straightened slightly despite the pain. Injured. Stabilized by human medic. A ripple of shock moved through alien ranks. The retrieval officer's voice sharpened. Step away from the human. He will be detained. Elias felt her grip tighten. Her nails pressed into his wrist. Negative, Thalin said. Silence fell like a hammer. Even Elias turned his head slowly toward her. The retrieval officer repeated, colder now, Commander. Release the human. No. The word echoed across the sand. Captain Mara narrowed her eyes. Interesting, she murmured. The alien officer recalculated quickly. If the human medic is taken into custody, you will receive immediate advanced treatment. Thalin's golden eyes did not move from Elias. He remains. Now it was the humans who were confused. Mara stepped forward cautiously. Corporal, what exactly did you do? Fixed her leg, Elias replied, and apparently started an interstellar crisis. Above them, Verati command ships received live feed. Inside the flagship, high strategists analyzed probability trees at extreme speed. Human compassion was not in their predictive models. They had studied human aggression, human resourcefulness, human unpredictability in war. But not this. A medic risking execution to save an enemy officer. It disrupted assumptions. And assumptions were the foundation of conquest. Back on the sand, tension grew unbearable. One twitch, one mistake. War would resume instantly. Then something unexpected happened. Vaylin slowly lifted her free hand. She pressed her palm against Elias's chest armor. The gesture was unmistakable in Verati culture. Declaration of protected status. Gasps spread among alien soldiers. The retrieval officer froze. Commander, you are invoking Sanctuary Protocol. Yes. Sanctuary was ancient. Older than their empire. It meant that any being who preserved Verati life under honorable intent could not be harmed without council judgment. No exceptions. Not even human. Captain Mara blinked. What just happened? She whispered. Elias exhaled slowly. I just got diplomatic immunity. The Verati retrieval officer hesitated, then lowered his weapon first. Human soldiers followed seconds later. Weapons lowered across the battlefield. It was the smallest ceasefire in galactic history. 2 armies standing down because one human refused to let someone die. Dropships adjusted position. Medical teams approached cautiously from both sides. Vaylin still did not release Elias. You may go, she said quietly. He shook his head. I told you. I'm not going anywhere. Her expression changed slightly. Confusion. Respect. Something deeper. You are irrational. Yeah, he said. It's kind of our thing. Hours later, both were transported to a neutral orbital platform under temporary truce. Inside sterile white corridors, human diplomats argued fiercely. This is a trap. They are manipulating us. This violates every protocol. Across the station, Verati strategists argued too. Humans are destabilizing variables. This act suggests emotional leverage. They may weaponize compassion. But Vaylin interrupted them all. I was dying, she stated calmly. He preserved my life when strategic advantage favored my termination. One elder strategist leaned forward. Humans are known for tactical deception. She met his gaze without blinking. He had no witnesses. No gain. Only choice. Silence followed. Meanwhile, Elias sat awkwardly in a holding chamber, sipping terrible station coffee. Captain Mara entered. You realize, she said slowly, that because you set one broken leg, we now have direct negotiation access to their high command. Elias stared at her. You're kidding. No. She folded her arms. They don't understand us anymore. You broke their predictive warfare model. How? You acted human. Days passed. Vaylin healed faster than expected. Verati biology responded strongly to trauma stabilization. Elias's field brace had prevented permanent damage. During recovery sessions, they spoke often. About war. About fear. About mistakes. She asked him once, were you not afraid I would kill you once healed? He shrugged. Sure. But I'd rather die knowing I didn't let someone suffer. She studied him carefully. That is weakness in most species. Maybe, he replied. Or maybe it's why we survive. Outside the station, something unprecedented was happening. Lower-ranked Verati soldiers began sharing the footage. Human medic. No hesitation. No demand. Just help. Among humans, the footage spread too. Enemy commander choosing sanctuary instead of vengeance. People on both sides began asking questions. Why are we fighting? Weeks later, A joint council convened. For the first time in recorded history, humans and Verati sat at the same table without weapons. The reason sat quietly between them. A medic. And a commander. Empires had studied human technology. They had underestimated human empathy. And empathy, when chosen freely, was more destabilizing than any weapon. But peace was fragile. Because not everyone wanted it. In the shadows of both governments, factions prepared for something darker. They believed cooperation meant weakness. They were about to learn what humanity truly did when pushed too far. And this time, humans would not just heal. They would outthink an empire. And they would do it together. Peace talks were never the real danger. Fear was. While humans and Verati leaders debated treaties and territory lines, a hidden faction inside the Verati expansion fleet made its decision. Compassion was contamination. And contamination must be erased. 3 weeks after the first joint council, alarms screamed across the orbital station. Elias was in the medical wing, recalibrating supply scanners, when the floor shook beneath his boots. Red emergency lights flooded the corridor. Captain Mara's voice blasted over the intercom. Unidentified vessels emerging from stealth. All personnel to defensive stations. Through the wide observation window, space twisted. 6 Verati warships dropped out of cloaked warp. But their transponders were wrong. Black markings. No fleet insignia. Rogue. Vaylin appeared at the end of the corridor, walking fast, her heeled legs steady, strong. Her face was calm. Too calm. "I know those ships," she said quietly. Elias felt his stomach drop. "They are Purity Command," she continued. "They believe our empire must remain dominant. Untouched. Unchanged." "Let me guess," he muttered. "They're not fans of humans. They are not fans of weakness." Explosions flashed against the station shields. The rogue fleet began firing without warning. Inside the council chamber, human and Verati diplomats scrambled. The fragile peace was seconds from collapsing. Elias looked at Vaylin. "What happens if they board?" "They will kill every human," she answered plainly. "And anyone Verati who resists." Outside, human defense ships rushed in, but they were outnumbered. Verati loyalist ships hesitated. Civil war in space was something their empire had never faced. Elias felt something ignite in his chest. Not fear. Not anger. Focus. "Your people rely on prediction models, right?" he asked. "Yes." "They think we're soft now." She nodded slowly. "Yes." A human technician ran past shouting, "Shield integrity at 60%. Elias grabbed Vaylin's arm. "What if we don't fight them the way they expect?" Her golden eyes narrowed slightly. "Explain." He spoke quickly. "Broadcast everything. Every channel. Show the original footage again. Show you invoking sanctuary. Show humans treating Verati wounded during the ceasefire. Send it to every ship, rogue and loyalist." She frowned. "That will not stop missiles." "No," Elias agreed. "But it'll stop their certainty." Missiles struck again. The station trembled violently. Vaylin turned sharply and activated a command panel. "Open all fleet-wide communication channels," she ordered. Technicians hesitated. "Commander, that will expose." "Do it." The footage began streaming. Across every Verati screen. Across every human ship. The battlefield moment replayed. A human medic kneeling. An alien commander bleeding. A hand reaching out. And not letting go. On rogue ships, younger officers watched in silence. On loyalist ships, doubt spread like wildfire. Purity Command had built their power on one belief. Humans were dangerous animals. But the image on screen showed something else. A choice. A soldier could have executed an enemy officer. Instead, he saved her. A junior Verati gunner aboard a rogue cruiser lowered his weapon slightly. "Commander," he whispered to his superior. The human had advantage. Why did he not kill her? The superior officer did not answer. Because he did not know. Back on the station, shields dropped to 40%. Time was running out. Elias grabbed a station-wide microphone. "Hey!" he shouted. Every screen flickered to his face. He looked small. Tired. Very human. "My name is Elias Rhine," he said clearly. "I'm not a hero. I'm not important. I just didn't want someone to die alone." Silence rippled through space. "I don't care what empire you serve. I don't care what flag you fly. If you're shooting at this station, you're about to prove that compassion scares you more than war." On several rogue ships, targeting systems hesitated. Thaylin stepped beside him. "I am Commander Thaylin of the 7th Fleet," she said. "This human preserved my life. Under ancient law, he is protected. Any ship firing on this station fires upon my authority." Her voice carried weight. History. Honor. For the first time, the rogue fleet fractured. 2 ships broke formation. Then a third. Purity Command's flagship continued firing. Its commander roared orders, furious. But something had shifted. Verati culture valued strength. They valued victory. But they valued honor above all. And the rogue leader had just violated sanctuary law. Human defense ships seized the moment. Instead of returning full fire, they targeted weapon systems only. Precise. Non-lethal. Disabling instead of destroying. Verati loyalist ships joined them. Together. Within minutes, the rogue flagship lost propulsion. Its weapons went dark. The battle ended not in annihilation, but in restraint. Inside the damaged station, emergency crews rushed to repair systems. No diplomats were killed. No civilians lost. War had come. And unity had answered. Hours later, in the quiet observation deck, Elias leaned against the glass, staring at drifting debris. "You realize," he said softly, "we just stopped a civil war with a medical decision." Thaylin stood beside him. "No," she corrected gently. "You began it." He looked at her. She continued. "My people believed strength meant domination. Your people showed that strength can mean preservation." He smiled faintly. "Yeah. We're weird like that." Across both civilizations, something permanent had changed. Military analysts rewrote doctrines. Strategists updated models. But none of them could quantify what truly happened. Humans had introduced a dangerous variable to the galaxy. Choice without gain. Compassion without weakness. Defiance without destruction. Weeks later, a formal alliance was signed. Not because humans were stronger. Not because Verati were defeated. But because both had seen something impossible. On a dead battlefield, in the middle of a war, a human medic chose to heal instead of kill. And an alien commander chose to hold his hand instead of strike him down. The galaxy had studied human weapons. It had studied human tactics. It had underestimated the most powerful thing humans carried into space. Their stubborn refusal to let go. As Elias prepared to return to Earth, Thaylin met him at the docking platform. "You changed the direction of 2 species," she said. He shook his head. "I just fixed a broken leg." She extended her hand. This time, not in desperation, but in trust. He took it. And somewhere in the endless dark of space, watching civilizations calculate, conquer, and compete, a new idea began to spread. Humanity was dangerous. Not because of its strength, but because even in war, humans chose hope. And that was something no empire had ever learned to defeat. The story did not end there. Because somewhere beyond mapped space, other species were watching. And they were about to discover something the Verati had learned the hard way. Never underestimate a human with nothing but a med kit. And a reason to stay.